What's up, sports bettors? My name is Matt Modi. My full-time role is as a betting analyst for OddsJam.com. Prior to OddsJam, my full-time role was just as a regular data analyst who had a passion for math and a passion for sports/sports betting. Thanks to OddsJam, I was able to combine the two into a full-time role. And the goal of this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the sportsbooks, and I'm going to be talking to you about how sportsbooks make their odds. I'm sure we've all been watching a game. Let's say we bet the spread minus 4.5, and we're dying in the final minutes as the score changes from 4 to 5 to 4 to 5, and you're wondering, how the heck does Vegas get this right? How do they always know how to price the odds and how to make them so accurate? Well, that's exactly what this video is going to be about. So give us a like, give us a comment, and let's get into it. So the first thing I want to discuss when talking about how sportsbooks make odds is really I want to talk about the goal of a sportsbook. At the end of the day, it's to make money, right? That's pretty much what they're there for. They just want to make money. And the way they do that is not necessarily by pricing the most accurate lines. Yes, of course, making sure the lines are accurate is important. But in reality, what sportsbooks want to do is instead price odds or spreads or totals in which they're going to get 50% of the money on each side. They want to make sure that they can price a spread in a way in which 50% of the bettors bet one team, the other 50% of the bettors bet the other team. As close as they can get to 50% in terms of money on each side, that is how the sportsbook is going to make money. Let me explain. So when sportsbooks price odds, what they do, every single sportsbook, there is no exception here, they're going to charge a vig. They're going to charge a juice to the odds themselves. What this means is sportsbooks don't charge a transaction fee. You can go on DraftKings, you can go on FanDuel, and you can place as many bets as you want in the entire world, and you will not get charged a transaction fee. Instead, what the sportsbooks do is they juice up the odds themselves, so that way they can accept 50% of the money on each side and they'll be profitable. Let me use a real life math example and get into it. So what I have up here is just the screenshot of some NBA game. You see Phoenix Suns -6, you see Dallas Mavericks +6, but most importantly, what you see under the +6 and the -6 is the -110. Those are the odds of each of those spreads, -110 odds each way. If you're unfamiliar with how odds work, essentially, if you see a minus before the number, that is how much you need to risk in order to profit $100. So anywhere in which you see -110 odds, I need to risk $110 in order to profit $100. So if I place a bet on the Mavericks +6, $110 bet, I'll get $100 in profit, and then I'll get my risk back as well. So I'll get $210 into my account. So let's say I bet the Mavs +6. If someone else puts $110 on the Suns -6, it's going to be the same exact thing. So the sportsbooks are going to accept $220 of risk, but they're only going to have to pay out $210 to the winner. That $10, that is how sportsbooks make their money. So that's exactly why they want 50% of the money on each side, because they will always make the juice. They will always make the vig. No matter what happens in the game, if the Suns cover or if the Mavericks cover, if they get 50% of the bets or close to it on each side, they will make a profit. So that $10 for every $100 bettor, multiply that by hundreds of thousands of dollars and hundreds of thousands of bets. And now you can see why sportsbooks have so much money, why they can have all these marketing ads you see all over TV, all over everywhere. All right, so now that we know the sportsbook's goal isn't necessarily to get the most accurate odds, but instead to price them in a way in which they'll get 50% of the money on each side, that's obviously a lot easier said than done. So how do sportsbooks actually go about pricing odds? Well, the dirty little secret there is that not every sportsbook is going to have the same way. If you see on the screenshot here on the screen, we see the money line odds for that same Suns versus Mavericks game. So Caesars, which is what we were looking at before, prices them at -260. BetRivers has them at minus 265. We see that FanDuel and WynnBET agree with Caesars, whereas other sportsbooks don't. So the way in which they actually price the odds, each sportsbook has their own proprietary method, and it changes based on the money they receive. Like I've said before, sportsbooks want to get 50% of the money on each side. So if they start getting 60%, 70%, 80% of the money on one side, if people on Caesars start hammering the Suns money line or the Suns spread at -6, it's going to change. The money line odds are going to become less favorable. The spread might go from 6 to 6.5 to 7. Sportsbooks are essentially like the stock market. It's all about supply and demand. The Suns price at -6 will go up based on the demand for the Suns -6, just like the spread or the stock for Amazon, for Apple. It's going to go up the more people are buying it. The more money that goes in on a stock or a spread or a money line, the less favorable it's going to be for the next person to buy that stock, to buy that spread. The same thing, but the opposite for teams that people are fading, for stocks that people are selling. It's going to go down as more people sell it, as more people fade that team. And I have my screen shared to show you exactly what I'm talking about. The page I have up here is just the spread odds for every single sportsbooks pulled from the OddsJam website. So if you go to oddsjam.com, you go to NBA, you go to the actual game, it'll pull odds from over 40 sportsbooks and show you exactly how sportsbooks are pricing odds based on how they received money. As we know, Caesars has the Suns at -6, as does DraftKings. But looking at all the other sportsbooks, looks like BetMGM, BetRivers, FanDuel, PointsBet, WynnBET, they all have the Suns actually at -6.5. So the money they've received is different than the money Caesars has received, than the money DraftKings has received. What this means is that if I like the Suns in this matchup, I should get them at -6 on Caesars and DraftKings as opposed to -6.5. It's a more favorable bet for me if I get them at -6. The opposite is true for the Mavericks. If I like them to cover the spread in this one, I should look at other books other than Caesars to make sure I'm getting the most favorable odds. Either way, how sportsbooks price odds is dependent on the money they receive, and because of that fact, you're always going to be able to find pricing discrepancies. You just need to use a tool like OddsJam to find them. And that's mostly it. That's today's lesson for the class. Hopefully, we've all learned some valuable lessons here today. Most importantly, what you need to understand is that sportsbooks don't price odds to make them the most accurate. They just want to make the most money. So they make sure that they can price odds in which they receive 50% of the money on each side. Of course, DraftKings is going to receive money differently than Caesars. And those discrepancies is how we can take advantage of sportsbooks and how we can make money betting on sports. What we need to do is just be signed up for every sportsbook so we give ourselves the biggest opportunity of finding a discrepancy. So all the sportsbooks you saw on the screen here, you can sign up for all of those if you are not, just using the links in the description of the video. Sign up using those links. Take advantage of the sign up bonus. We have other videos on the OddsJam YouTube channel showing you how you can take advantage of those sign up bonuses, convert free bets, convert site credit into cash. You can also use them on positive expected value bets. Either way, being signed up is incredibly important. So if you liked the video, again, would appreciate if you could actually click the like button. If you could comment, let me know your feedback. You can also hit me up at my Twitter handle. You see it up here, Modi_Matt. It's very boring. Other than that, of course, would appreciate if you could just subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel. As I mentioned before, we have a ton of helpful content for all you sports bettors out there, whether you're a beginner, whether you're an expert. Subscribing to the OddsJam YouTube channel will prove to be beneficial for you. And that's all I got for you. So thanks for watching and have a good one.